And they're off. Welcome
We're back.
to Monday, April 18th, otherwise known as Tax Day for some of you. But if you were prepared, doesn't mean anything, man.
Just another Monday.
Just another Monday. Just another man.
And normally tax day is the 15th, right? It got extended this year because of the holiday.
Well, it went because of Good Friday. It went to Monday,
Right.
so
Right.
people got the extra weekend. All good stuff. Tons of stuff to update. Happy Easter or happy Passover or both, depending on what you choose to celebrate.
Which the image, or what is it called? Not the GIF, but the meme that Lori Salarillo sent us yesterday. I've seen that kind of go around. That mixes, the doughboy, and one raises, one didn't. So it's very
cool. He has risen. He has not.
He has not. Right.
Which is really very cute, very fun. Good, a lot of symbolism, a lot of family. Show me the Nudelberg clan. The Prince Jules was his first. Look at that cutie. Continued congratulations to Gabby, who has done an amazing job. Mark is looking refreshed and ready. And good morning, Darren McKee. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. Good stuff.
I can promise you they're very tired. I was over there. I was over there last night dropping off diapers, and they were absolutely dead. It was just like a war. It was like walking into a war zone after.
Shay, show me your Easter pictures. Look at Shay, man. So Shay's wife, who I adore, she is very, very organized, very into themes, as you can tell, and she buys clothes ahead of time and does the coordination thing. And Shay just says, "Yes, ma'am." So just looking good there, my man. Really good. Tell us about your day.
No, just had family, went to mass, had family over, and had some brisket. So it was good. Excellent.
So we got the kids update out of the way. Very nice. Thrilled. Shay, show me with my grandson. I love this kid. Man, he is so delicious, so strong. The smell of a newborn is just incredible. So I'll switch gears. Great sports weekend for South Florida. You had the Marlins win. Shay's happy. You had the Panthers win 10 in a row. Crazy. There's Mr. McGregor. I sent him, and this is a key, what we're talking about today. We talked about it last week when I connected with, I just think about Scott McGregor all the time. I took thinking into action, sent him a text and said, "Hey, I think about you a lot. I hope you're well." And there he is, shows up on Monday morning. Thank you. Great stuff. But, Jake, I want you to comment on the Heat. Wow.
Great performance. I think they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. It's part of the culture. You operate, as if nobody believes in you, and creating motivation from external sources. They did just that to start the playoffs. They absolutely obliterated the Hawks. Duncan Robinson made his return. Talking about adversity, gets benched. At the end of the season, comes back in the first playoff game and leads the team in points. So it's fun. I'm a diehard Heat fan. It's going to be a fun couple months here, with the Heat and the
right.
Panthers. If you're not a fan, you should hop on the bandwagon. You're going to want to be a part of this, and it'll lead us right into football season. So
one of the things I want to point out is Spoelstra took the whole team to the Bahamas. Get this shit out of your system, because we talk about the song, "Let's Get Down to Business." They came to play, man. So
I think everybody, it's cool to see the NBA especially the sports in the NHL, the NBA, where there's so many games. It's hard for them to get up and get motivated every night. It's good to see every team kind of come in it with hunger. All the other games have been great. The Celtics and Nets game was great. So it's exciting.
And then last but not least, Saturday night, I went to see Bon Jovi. We will talk about Bon Jovi to open up our content today. I've got an interesting question I want to ask you. Then we're going to go right into what's the best channel to prospect. But before the concert, had dinner at Runway 84. Those of you who have been there, this is the Swan Song, May 13th. They basically demolished the place. It comes back under new ownership with a new look. And I, for one, am extremely sad. Old and new, we talk about it all the time, old school, new school. That is my go-to place. And changing the culture there is a sad moment. So I posted that. People were freaked. Same
What was your
food.
last meal?
So I had Ville Milanese,
Nice.
which is I'm on this, interesting kind of health kick. So I didn't have any pasta, but Sean Flood, who's here, we have unbelievable stuff happening with Sean. Sean lives in Ireland now. Him and David, his partner, are flying in the 28th. We're doing a round table at the back of that restaurant, which people know is the Merino table. And we're going to be signing papers and doing all kinds of partnership shit that night. That night, we're eating some chicken parm, eggplant Merino, rigatoni with cauliflower. So, Shay, wake us up. Let's go.
Wake up, everybody! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Wake up! Come on! Come on! Wake up, everybody! Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in bed. No more back to thinking, top of thinking ahead. Come on now.
Actually could have shown that picture. Hayden's here. And you
I
had
was
a
just about to
random-
say, ran into the Hayden Kassan. We were at Salt 7, both enjoying the weekend. It was beautiful, but it's always great when you walk in and see the members of the Huddle and the family. It was good. We took a picture. Should have posted it. That's my fault. It's getting used to the hosting thing. Forgot I got to do the updates and getting used to
So
how
here's a
it's running
question
here.
for you. Here's a question to kick us off. I really want to get to the main content for the day, but we go see Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi must have 50 number one hits or something crazy. He's been playing, and creating great music forever. My question is, when you go see a guy who's sort of at this stage of his career, as the audience, you expect him to play a lot of his hits. Well, we didn't get a lot of his hits, man. We got, I think, 3, maybe 4. When he played his hits the 4 times, the place was unreal. But when he didn't play it, and he was playing his new music or some stuff, the crowd sat. It was like, whoa, no energy, no nothing. He asked a couple of times, "Are you with me?" And I'm like saying, dude, you never had to say that at a concert. People were just going crazy. So I want to know your opinion.
Well, I think there's 2 different opinions. Does he perform for himself or does he perform for the fans?
Bingo.
Because I remember a couple concerts, like Darius Rucker had fun playing the hits because he wanted to do it with the crowd. But I went to a J. Cole rapper, and for those of you who don't know, J. Cole is a rapper, and went to his concert. And he said at the beginning of the concert, the bars will be heard, and I will be playing stuff that I want to, and you guys will enjoy it. And I happened to enjoy it because he was having such a good time up there, singing what he thought was, important. So I think it's a give and take. When you go to an old-time guy like Bon Jovi, I think it's rightfully so that you play your old 80s hits and 90s hits, but who am I to tell him differently?
So I think you hit on it, which, by the way, just the comments I get about you being my co-host, I'm not sure Mark makes his seat back. I'm just throwing it out there because you've done a great job. That nails it. Is it about him or is it about them, meaning me? I did not pay. Thank you. Shout out to Ferguson for inviting us to their suites. Really nice time. Great hosts and hostesses. We had a great time. But people who paid money, I paid money to see you and hear you play your old stuff. It's about me. Think about this as we relate it to sales. It's about them. I don't give a shit what it's your quota or what you need to sell or what pressure you're on, or for this matter, what the hell's going on in your life. It's none of their business. So, you got to keep it in perspective. It was a good concert. It wasn't great. The acoustics were off. Just saying, when you do things, when you're an artist, and I think, great business development is an art. It's about them. And the more you make it about them, the better reaction. Look at this conversation we're having. It wasn't like, oh my God.
I can tell you, I'm sure there was a big group of people who were very happy that he played some of his new stuff. There are the diehards where I know that I listen to, artists and I want to hear their new stuff, even if it's not the popular stuff. And so you have to cater to both audiences and stay true to yourself. And yeah.
You can't win it all. You can't please everybody, but the guy does play great music. One of my favorite songs is We Weren't Born to Follow. The words are amazing because that's what we're going to talk about. Picking your channel of distribution on how you prospect. You can follow the masses or you can do your own thing. Give me We Weren't Born to Follow.
This one goes out to the man who minds for miracles. This one goes out to the ones in need. This one goes out to the sinner and the cynical. This ain't about no apology. This road was paid by the hopeless and the hungry. This road was paid by the winds of change. Walking beside the guilty and the innocent. How will you raise your hand when they call your name? Yeah. We weren't born to follow. Come on and get up off your knees. When life is a pill to swallow, you gotta hold on to what you believe. Believe that the sun will shine tomorrow. And now your saints and sinners bleed. We weren't born to follow. You gotta stand up for what you believe. Let me hear you say oh yeah. This one's about.
So you got to stand up for what you believe.
So real quick, just to play devil's advocate, I went to a Bon Jovi concert when it was that tour. It was the We Weren't Born to Follow tour. And I loved that album. And I'm going to say maybe one song off that album is a classic for him. Like, I don't even know that most people would know We Weren't Born to Follow or the other songs that are on that album. And he played the whole album and I enjoyed it. So to play devil's advocate a little bit.
So great. I think you got to believe in what you do, which is a perfect send-off for what I want to talk about today. And the question is, what's the best channel for prospecting? Shay, show me the first video, which is, will speak to this question.
I asked 8 sales leaders if they could only choose one method, one channel for prospecting, which one would they choose? And this is what they had to say.
It's social.
Cold call.
Email, of course.
I just almost cut you off before you finished the sentence. We're like, phone, it's the phone.
The phone, cold calling. Now, you're entitled to think anything you want. I just asked the question, who the hell's answering the phone? Like, these are, people that are in the sales training space and they're saying, oh my God, so show me another depth of cold calling.
So cold call would be my answer. I want to have human interaction. I love to talk to people, actually be able to, I can't convey myself in writing very well, but I can do it in a full-on conversation. And I think it's just a little bit more authentic and you can really build a relationship.
So I think, when I try and unpack this, I love what he wants to get. How do you get that in the phone? How do you show up and know? So our man Seth is amazing. Seth Godin puts out a post, the resolution of communication. What's better, phone call or Zoom? Which creates more intimacy, meeting in person or sending a handwritten letter? The answer is it depends. The phone is the most powerful tool, I think, after you've set it up. Virtual coffee is the phone with the tools that are available to us. So, Shay, show me Morgan, who is a friend of ours, a friend of the Huddle. Show me what he says about social.
I'm gonna pick social every single time. People are getting more active on social, and we're moving more into the digital world, and you have more options to comment, to post, to send a message, to send a video, to send a voice note, those things that you can do across the board.
So when he says you have options, my suggestion is, yeah, you can hammer away at the phone. Your engagement is going to be very different. What Seth goes on to say, that there are, hold on, let me get it here. There are three things, there are three forces at work. Listen to this. Are we using all the information we can? So cold calling means I'm not using all the information. I'm just smiling and dialing volume wise. I'm not taking the time. I'm not investing anything. Talk to me what your gut is. If I was trying to sell you something, would you answer the phone?
I think I'm not going to say it's a cop out. I think it's an easy way for salespeople to go about their business and not have to show up, not have to deal with building real relationships or dealing with real nose to your face or getting dressed every day. I think cold calling is you're hiding behind something. I think you show up every day. We show up on video. We show up in pictures. We show up in our GIFs. Like everything we do is so authentic to us, and we put ourselves out there, and that leaves you vulnerable. That leaves you vulnerable to no's and people letting you down and things you didn't expect from people. Whereas in cold calling, you're less kind of worried about that in a way. And I'm just going to smile, smile and dial or whatever it is. And it doesn't hurt as bad. You don't have to do as much or put as much effort in. And so I like the other one better because it's more personal. It makes me feel better about the relationships that I'm developing.
Love it. Love it. Number two, are we showing up with permission? Now, this is probably the biggest paradigm shift is I'm going to interrupt your day to talk to you about what I want to sell you. Ridiculous. I look at and I use this analogy all the time. You go into Starbucks, you're standing in line, somebody in front of you is talking about the Miami Heat. You're a diehard Miami Heat fan. You're going to reach around and go, hey, can I talk to you about sales coaching? They're going to look at you like you're a moron. You don't have permission yet. You haven't earned the right to speak to somebody. That's what the new tools allow us to do at scale, is earn permission.
It's who answers their phone. Like we talk about this all the time. I hate phone calls. I think it's the worst thing ever. If you need to talk to me, just text me. Like you don't know what I'm doing or what you're doing. And I think it's, we were talking about the different generations and the voicemail, because everybody leaves you a voicemail or you leave voicemails. My generation doesn't leave voicemails. We don't even like voicemails. Send us a text. We'll get back to you. So it's just interesting how people are leveraging the new tools. Obviously, we have our pattern and our strategy that we think works. But I'm always fascinated to see the statistics, from the people that are using the cold calling and what the numbers. I have friends who are in it, and they tell me they've made 500 phone calls in 3 days and got 2 responses. And I'm like, what's the point? Like, where are you getting your numbers, your results that prove that it's the right strategy? So it's fascinating.
And the reason being, this is the third thing, is there a path to an emotional connection and trust, which is what all business is about. I got a problem. I trust you to fix it. Pretty simple. I don't know how you develop that on the phone in today's world when you have new options and new things to do. So those 3 things and there's, Devin, is voicemail, but voicemail, delete. Nobody's investing on the other side. So when I get up, and next Monday at this time, Mark will be back. I'll be doing the keynote in Kansas City for Midas. I'm talking about new tools. Voicemail is old. It's 50 years old. It's a dead one-way thing. Cold calling is one-way thing. Virtual coffee is 2 ways. I want to invite you in to see if we have a connection and build trust. So, these things are available. I never say the phone is bad. And I agree with you. We were in the car going somewhere.
It's a great tool to use once you have the relationship developed. To call somebody up and say, hey, how you're doing, or what, anything that it's so easy. Like phone isn't a bad thing. It's one of the more revolutionary things that's ever been invented, obviously. So using it in the right way, to get the best results.
So if you landed on the planet today, which by the way is the basis of all of our coaching, if you landed on the planet today and you didn't know about email or voicemail, or cold calling, right? And you just learned, wouldn't the new phone be Zoom? It's the extension of the phone. It makes it more personal. It's so much grander and deeper. And especially if your content is, I'm not selling you, I just want to connect with you. So I think all of it is, an adoption. When I first started selling cell phones, we sold 12 phones a month. By the time we were done, we were selling 3,000 a month, and just in our South Florida locations, So it's an adoption thing. It takes time, but it does depend. Show me the last guy who really, really nailed it.
This is an unanswerable question because it totally depends on who your target audience is. You may be reaching out to a chief information security officer, or you may be reaching out to an individual sales rep. Those two personas have very different ways of consuming information. They have very different channels that they respond to. They have different expectations about how you should reach out to them. I can answer the question for my persona, which is salespeople. And if I had to choose, I would probably choose LinkedIn. And the reason for that is because salespeople, sales leaders are very active on LinkedIn. I can send a mixture of voice messages and video messages and custom email, but it's very important to do all of everything. So fundamentally, I reject the question.
Reject the question, man. It's just, so it does depend. There are so many ways for you to connect with somebody. Cold calls, social selling, emails, door to door, cold FaceTimes. Somebody called it pitch slapping on Twitter, slick talk, direct mail, trade shows, skywriting.
Would anybody answer a FaceTime from a random number?
I can't imagine.
There's no chance, right? Like, of all the craziness that happens in this world, there's not a chance I'm answering a FaceTime from anybody else.
So if you find something that works, which we have, you go deep on what works. As a football coach, and we'll close with this, when you found a play that worked, would you stop doing that just to do something else that was old that didn't work, or would you stick? Keep running until they stop it. So right now, this works. Thanks for starting your Monday with us. Think, get down to business, and let's go.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get